all 40 other people who aren't on here are definitely missing out. I'm only giving this recording to people as they request it. So you guys that are able to tune in live are really going to benefit from being able to do so. So let's get started. I'm excited because I'm going to show you guys some more technical stuff too. Oh my God, could this sweatshirt be any more schlumpy? How are you attracted to me right now? I look like I'm on the lam. Like I look like I'm escaping authorities. Granted,
it's my sweater.
I don't know how you got this.
I used to be awesome.
Okay, anyway, sorry. So, what I'm going to be able to do is teach you some more technical stuff. So, piping, I'm going to go over. I'm going to teach you this really cool trick, if you guys see. So, my trick to having the bottoms, can't see because the lighting is for shit, but, babe, would you mind turning the light on for me in the living room? Thank you. So, if you can see, that's parchment down at the bottom. And you're probably like, Michelle, however, did you get such a perfect circle? I did not have to trace and cut out. I will show you how I got this. I'm going to teach you guys how to pipe, which is like, I'm so used to this because at the bakery that I used to teach classes at, we had a piping class and I created it and it was a nightmare at first. So I figured out some tricks of the trade on how to explain to you guys how to hold the bag, the pressure, you know, what I use exactly. And it managed to keep me from being covered in buttercream from 30 people all learning to pipe for the first time for like 3 years. So hopefully I can teach you guys. Hopefully I can figure out how you can best see what I'm doing because I kind of have this set up. Let's see. Oh, that works. Yeah, I have a piece of paper set up here that I'm going to pipe on as well. So first step is we're going to make our dough. Simple enough. You guys have done this before, but here's the thing. So I'm mixing psyllium husk and xanthan gum in here to give it that more flexible kind of texture and pull to it as we're rolling out a crust. So I mixed all the dry ingredients except the psyllium husk and the xanthan gum, okay? The reason for that is if they touch liquid before they're ready to be mixed fully, they'll just glob up and then they won't mix. So I'm mixing the cheese with the dry ingredients right now. And only when I'm ready to put it in the microwave, I'm going to give this a quick mix. And sprinkle it over the top. And then start mixing pretty quickly. And then you guys know the drill. This is the only dough recipe, but with a few additional add-ins. I will have these recipes typed up for you guys. Everybody else has to wait for them for my ebook. You guys get them ahead of time, so 40 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna teach you guys how I do my little paper circles thing. So you're gonna take a decently width, I don't know if that's a word, whatever, piece of parchment, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to fold it. I'll pick this up and show you. You're going to fold it so that the edges meet up and they're both straight. So rectangle, fold it. And now whatever piece is left outside of this fold, God, I hate curly parchment paper. I'm a brat. So in culinary school and in the professional baking world, we do not use rolled up parchment. We would get just sheets of, do I have a huge stain on me? We would get huge pieces, like sheets of parchment. Hold on. Can you take the story of me when I'm piping? Nick is being the best Instagram husband ever, and he's waiting to take like a story of me when I'm piping. It's far cooler. You just hold it down. He's so cute. So in culinary school and in the professional baking world, we have big, huge sheets of parchment that are flat all the time, and it's amazing. And they're like the size of sheet pans. So much easier. So then you're gonna cut this, cut off that extra bit, so you're left with this triangle, right? Then you're gonna take this, oh wait, mix. I'm going to be offering private cooking lessons soon on Zoom, so I appreciate you guys letting me practice with you. Hopefully I'm a little bit more graceful when I cook with them. So back in we go. Okay, so you're gonna take this and right in the center here, you're gonna fold it again to make another triangle. Then you're gonna fold it again. I'm really hoping, okay, so I'm dyslexic mildly, like dyscalculia, I have ADD, all that stuff. So I kind of always screw this up. So there's a 50-50 chance I'm gonna open this up and it's gonna be 2 halves of a circle. Or if I did it correctly, it's gonna be a circle. So let's see. So then what you do is once you have it all folded up, you're gonna take your bowl or container, try to put the point of it in the middle and get a gauge for how far down you have to cut. So I almost always undercut it, so it's always huge and I have to go back and do it again. If you have to, just refold it up and cut it. But around this point is where the dish is. I did it! It's always a surprise. See? But like I said, I overcut it, or undercut it. So I'm gonna fold it back up. Okay, then you get a little circle here. And then you just spray the whole thing down with Pam and you put the whole thing down and it sticks right in the center. That's it. So that's how I do my little circles for this. Spoonie life. I'm playing gym music as I'm standing here and cooking. This is my energy use of the day. Kidding. I'm at the tail end of a 9-day, so far, colitis flare. Very excited for that to be over with. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me this past week if I wasn't as available or together as I usually am. I love that I don't have to worry with you guys though, because you know what it's like. Kind of. Okay, so that's gonna go in for a few more minutes. So the thing I want you guys to take away from this also is to make your recipes convertible. Experiment. It's not, you can't really screw it up all that bad. I mean, you're not putting crazy flavors in, but if you want to take something that's kind of savory, like cake, bread, or, I don't know, any of the recipes I have that are just not pastry, and make it pastry. All you have to do is add a sweetener of some kind, sweet source, and then add whatever flavor you want. Do you want cinnamon? Do you want chocolate? And just use the recipe bases that we have and make them your own based on what you're craving in the moment too. So a lot of people are like, oh, but cravings are bad. No, listen to them. It's fine. They'll go away eventually. But in the meantime, why you got to sit there with just sheer willpower and be like, no, I really want this kale. Like, no, you don't. You're not fooling anyone. No, nobody thinks that cauliflower crust is real. Nobody thinks that's another kind of pizza. That's another kind of cauliflower, So why live miserably? Figure out a way to replace the thing that you're craving. And if it's the right kind of thing, you don't even have to worry about portion. So I feel like this music is increasing as I speak. Hold on. Okay. So now I have my dough. Same spiel. I'm going to take Pam. Everyone always asks me, like, how do you get it to be, like, round? So I'm going to show you. Okay, so start with kind of a round ball to begin with. And then take the rolling pin and kind of smush it down first. Okay, and turn it to the side and do the same thing on that side. You want to think about being even. Whatever you do with it long ways, you're going to do with it width ways. God, this is way too big a piece of crust. Okay. So I put my hands on both sides here, and I start from the middle and push my way out. Straight, okay? Then flip it the other way, because if you saw, I put it in the center and I rolled it out. So now I flipped it, so this is the thick side, and I'll do the same. Now, whatever we do long ways, we're gonna do width ways. So go in the center. Back and forth.
No bone for Pop because you didn't eat your food, buddy. Did he eat his breakfast? He ate his breakfast. Hi, honey bunny.
You guys are cute. Whoever is saying honey bunny has a really cute mom voice. I love it. I love it. Okay. So do this long enough. I get like in the zone when I do this. I apologize. But you can see now a round kind of crust. So I'm going to roll this out a little bit thinner. Make sure you use the chat feature. If you have any questions, you want me to elaborate, make sure you don't be shy. Oh, someone just, I thought it was me. You know, you're so cute. Hannah, you have a very lovely voice. Okay, so now we have our crust. So what we're gonna do is take our crust and lay it right over, hang on. Schmutz out of here. You're gonna take that and you're gonna lay it right over your dish and pick up the edges. I, believe it or not, cannot find my pie dish. So I'm using this deep, deep bowl instead for you guys. I was all excited. I was like, oh, I'm gonna freeze it. I'm gonna do it for Thanksgiving. Nope. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world to like have to eat pie later. You're just gonna push it down in there. Secure it to the sides. I'm just smushing it against the sides here. Probably like, what the f is she cooking? Okay. Then you take sharp knife or a pizza cutter. Nick rearranged my drawer last night and I don't know where anything is. Be right back. I got it. Okay. So I'm gonna take it because now it's just all slopped around the side, and I'm gonna cut it right around the rim. Damn, the psyllium husk does not want to cut. What an annoying thing, huh? Guys, exponentially easier in an actual pie dish. I'm not gonna lie. Don't do this. Don't just try to wing it. I'm literally so irritated. Okay. So instead of it looking like it came from a swamp, it'll be much cleaner looking. I'm also a really big perfectionist when it comes to baking, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so what you wanna do after you do this is really important. You wanna take a fork or something and stab the hell out of it. Especially if you're putting psyllium husk in it. As you can see, it is extremely tough. So poke the crap out of this. The reason for this is, and I'm gonna show you how we do what's called blind baking, but the reason that we do this is to allow air to go through it so it doesn't bubble up and pop up as we're baking it. So I got all the holes in there. Now what I'm gonna do is, where the hell's my phone? I'm gonna take parchment, I'm gonna lay it right over the top here. I'm gonna take some rice or some dried beans, whatever you have that's like really heavy. Make sure if you do this, you put a pretty generous piece of parchment because when you go to take this off after, you're gonna have rice everywhere. So, but the point of this is to keep it weighed down. So as we bake it, it's not gonna, again, it's not gonna puff up like crazy. I'm paranoid that it's gonna light on fire, and I have OCD, so you guys love me anyway. Bear with me. I'm not even gonna eat this rice, so. Okay. Hell no, we're not trying to have a fire here. All right, so I'm gonna put that in the oven. I'm just gonna do 350 for like 10 minutes. Babe, would you mind setting an alarm for me? 10. Thank you. Okay. Alrighty. So the pumpkin's really easy. Like the pumpkin portion of it's really easy. I'm just gonna take brown erythritol. Again, I'm gonna have all of these recipes, like these measurements for you guys. So we have our brown sugar. We have our sweetened condensed milk that it's in the tres leches recipe. So if you want to look that up, I'll include it for you guys. Let me dump that in. Cup of pumpkin puree or 1 regular size can. I'm using a fork, but just do not. Spatulas are, I have so many of them, but I feel like I can never have enough. I got this one for free though at my last job. This one and like 7 more. The small spatulas in? What, the offset spatulas you mean? Oh. Okay. And then we got our egg and 1 egg yolk. Bowl's too small. Just mix this. I don't know. I'm not much of like a pumpkin fan, believe it or not. Like I think who was it? Was it Alyssa? You were saying you're like, I'm not a big pumpkin fan. I'm not a pumpkin fan. I make it. Everybody loves it. You know, it's like a favorite for Thanksgiving and fall and yada, 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 but not my fave. And you know what, believe it or not, I don't go like crazy for stuffing either. I'm not really a big like Thanksgiving food kind of person, I don't think. Pretty sure turkey is what sent me flaring, by the way. So see? It's pretty liquidy. So as soon as that pie crust comes out, I'll pour that right in the top. And then I'm gonna cover it. I have a cover for that Pyrex, but if you, oh my God, ew. If you don't have a cover for the pie dish that you're using, you can just use foil. That's fine. Okay, before I put this big gross sweatshirt on this big gross counter, give me a sec to clean up. Okay, so first thing about piping I'm going to teach you guys is about piping back. So when I use these, they come in a roll. You can get them on Amazon. I swear by this brand. It's what we used in every bakery I ever worked in. Eteco, E-T-E-C-O. Oh. Hang on. How the hell do I spell this? Oh. No, I don't want that weird word autocorrect. Okay. Okay, I sent it in the chat. But it's a Teco. I got these. They're 18-inch piping bags. You get 100 of them on a roll. I've been using them for forever. They're amazing. So you're gonna rip one off like this. Chat out of the way. Rip one off like this, and then what you're gonna do is you want to cut the tip of this so that you can put your actual piping tip in here. But if you cut it too far down, this will slide right out and you're gonna have like an explosive mess everywhere. If you cut it too little, it's gonna affect it, like the plastic that's hanging off will make it a mess. So it's okay if you have to go back a few times, but you kind of get a feel for it the more you do it. I did get pumpkin all over me. Well, would you look at that? There's a lucky guess. Usually I have to go back and retrim it. But if you can see where the plastic is on that, it's just to allow that tip to come out. Now, when you're filling your piping bag, this is super important. When you're filling your piping bag, you want to take the top here, fold it down, like fold it down halfway like this. Okay, so you just inside out. You're gonna take the hand, not the hand that is your dominant hand. So I'm a righty, so I'm with my left hand, and I'm going to hold the inside of the bag and pull this down over it. So you see here, it's like your hand is right up against the fold of the bag. Take a spatula, don't get crazy, don't use a knife, don't use a spoon, don't do anything crazy. Get yourself a spatula so you get a good amount. And then you're gonna take this, push down as far as you can, and then using your thumb, kind of like grab it off of the spatula. Okay. And then as you get to the top of it, when you're starting out, don't overfill your bag. Don't be like, oh, I got this, it looks so easy, and then get a big bag of whatever, because it's gonna be a hot mess. Start small, okay? But once you get to the top of your bag, what you do is you put it on top and scrape the spatula against your hand that's underneath the plastic. Okay, so you've got enough here. I already pre-filled one. Then what you're gonna do is carefully slide your hand out, grab the top of this, and unfold it. Now this is the most important part, how you hold the damn bag. I'm trying not to flash anyone. Okay, so how you hold the bag is you wanna grab the top like a carrot, like right out of the ground, right? Take your pointer finger and your thumb here, around the top, and you're gonna squeeze down, whoop, squeeze too much, until it reaches the end of the tip. Once you do that, it keeps quietly saying just the tip behind me as I'm saying this, weirdo. But you're gonna twist this, like keep this pinched and twist so you tighten it. Now, on your dominant hand here, this is where we're gonna be squeezing. Okay, this hand is gonna control the pressure. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep this tight between your pointer finger and your thumb and twist it. Now this is in the palm of my hands naturally. I'm gonna put my palm down on this and hold it. Okay, this hand is going to direct us. So this hand is focusing on keeping even pressure, and this hand is focusing on moving the tip in the way that we want. Okay, so this is with whipped cream, by the way. Not to completely confuse you guys, but I want you to have the proper expectations. So this is with whipped cream. It's a very light thing in this bag here. I just realized I put down dark construction paper, forgetting that I made my whipped cream brown. So the construction paper is the same color as the whipped cream. Anyway, things to note for the future, I suppose. But this is really easy to do, like a big bag, like a big amount of it like this, okay? If you're doing something that's heavier, like frosting or donuts, you know, donut batter or whatever, I have another trick for you for that. So you're gonna do is before you tighten it up, you might want to do this over whatever container you have, but you're gonna go midpoint, enough to just grab a handful here. And with your pointer finger and your thumb, you're gonna squeeze and twist. Okay, so now you basically did what I did in the big bag, but a little small amount. This side up here, you're gonna twist the opposite way and hold that with this hand. So now, this is the way if you wanna do very detailed piping, if you have heavy stuff to pipe with and it's too hard to do with one, a big bag like that and just holding it on the end. This is called splitting the bag and it gives you a lot of control. So let's see how this friggin' goes. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, remember when you're piping, hold it in one place, squeeze. When you're done with the amount that you want, stop squeezing and then pull away. So let's say you wanted to do like a border on a cake or something like that. Squeeze, stop, pull away. Squeeze, stop, pull away. I recommend you guys do this to get a feel for practicing with piping. You can do this with shortening. You just buy some Crisco or something. I'm sorry if I have cocoa powder under my nails and I look disgusting. I just realized, by the way. I would do this, just get some Crisco and you can whip up the Crisco and use that to practice icing. Put some plastic wrap down on your counter and go crazy. Just scrape it up and put it back in the bag. That's how I did it. So that's to do like, let's say like a pearl border on a cake or something like that. Let's say you want to do designs or some kind of lettering. You're going to hold the bag over top, squeeze, and just use the other hand to guide you. I am expecting nobody to do this kind of stuff. I'm just trying to show you that you do have control. It's about either making it a small amount like this, or let's say you're doing donuts in the donut pan. The same thing. So even though I have, a lot more in the bag, I'm still going to focus on using this hand to direct and this hand to squeeze. Okay, so let's say you're doing the donuts over top, so straight up and down. I have no idea what this song is that's on right now. I feel like I'm playing DDR. So you see how I do that? Just keep the pressure consistent and let your other hand do the directing. So now eventually what's going to happen is you're going to be doing this enough that you're going to have air here because you're using, hold on, Nick's taking the story. Okay, so when you have a lot of air in the bag because you're using it, you're pushing it out, right? That's when you stop. Don't get like, oh, I just got to finish it. I just want to get it over with. If there's a lot of slack in the bag because you're using the stuff, right? That's when you stop, grab the top like carrots again, grab this with your pointer and thumb, and you're gonna try and squeeze out as much as you can so you can get all the air out. And then you're just gonna twist and keep on going. You're gonna keep doing this as you go through your whatever the hell's in your bag, okay? Really the possibilities are endless. You can actually, what you can do is start experimenting. You can use the microwave bread recipe, add some sweetener. You can do this to make lady fingers. So if you want to make tiramisu, that's the next one I'm working on. If you want to use this to make tiramisu, you want to make your own lady fingers. There you go. Looks like a turd, but it is what it is. If you want to make little drop cookies, you can make little balls. If you wanted to make a heart, okay, let's see if I can do this upside down. So, not my best work. 2 circles next to each other. If you wanted to let's say you wanted to ice a cupcake. You just wanted to pipe a regular cupcake swirl. You would hold in the middle, squeeze, go around where you squeezed, lift up a bit, go around like that. It really looks like actual poop, but so what do you guys think? What do you think about piping? Are you excited to try? Did I confuse the ever-loving crap out of you? Tell me in the chat, what did you like so far? And my pie crust is done, by the way. So while you're typing that out, we'll grab that. I'm not gonna lie, I almost dropped that the whole way here. But I think I'm actually going to have some extra here. So I might make little mini cupcake size pumpkin pies, but I'm just gonna pour this in here. Oh, I'm not gonna have as much extra as I thought. Sometimes I like forget that I used to do this and like have an idea of what to eyeball, but you can be OCD like me and smooth it out after you pour it in the middle, or not, still be delicious. That is still hot. It did come out of an oven. So. There you go. I'm gonna put this in the oven. I'm gonna bake it about 25 minutes until it is set in the middle. Then I'm gonna let it cool completely and it'll be good to go. Hang on, I'll say a proper goodbye to you guys before I drop this all over the floor. Now, if your crust, like if the edges start to burn, and this goes across the board, like this is for anything you cook. If ever you're baking something and the center isn't done yet and the whole thing isn't done yet, but the edges are getting way too brown and you're afraid they're gonna burn, what you do then is you can loosely just drape some foil around the edges of that bowl. Or you can just cover it. Oh, forgot to cover my pie. Don't forget to cover your pie. The reason that I'm covering this is because I think the crust will be cooked faster than the actual filling. So I'm trying to prolong the edges of the pie from getting too brown, too dark, too like crunchy before the center has a chance to cook fully. And you can do that with anything. So keep that in mind. If something's cooking faster than you thought it was going to, you want to slow it down a bit because you can always brown something and add some more color by putting it under the broiler after the fact. But if you burn it, you know, it's almost like it's better to take longer to cook it and not have it burnt and get it to the right consistency than to cook it too fast, burn it, but have the center not done, and then you're like not even excited to eat it. So that definitely is a huge help to keep an eye out on the temperature like that. Let's see what these comments say. I'm like afraid I'm gonna put my arm right in this frosting though. It sounds like limited 2 in here with this music. I feel like I'm working at a Mandy's. Come on, cooperate. All right, so now that I'm not gonna sit in frosting, let's see. Your piping skills make me want to make something just so I can try piping. Yeah, honestly, it's like nerve-wracking, but it's so much fun. Loved how you showed the different techniques depending on what you're making. I always use Ziploc bag and cut the corner to ice my cupcakes. Super ghetto. I think everybody's done that though. Look, I've always done the same. Like I've always just, before I went to culinary school and like learned this stuff, I would just grab a Ziploc bag. Or even now, if I'm somewhere and I need to use it, like I'm a spoiled brat. If it's something that I could technically use a spatula for, or I could pipe it, if they have a sandwich bag, I'm piping it. You know, it's just so quick when you get used to it. But yeah, no, that's fine too. The piping bags are worth the investment, honestly, because like I've used them to stuff like softened garlic butter into the skin of like a chicken that I was making or something like that. I've used them to pipe my cupcakes. I pipe my donuts. I made donuts in 10 minutes today because it was just mix it in the blender and then pipe it and it's done. So once you get the hang of piping, it really is like a huge time saver. And it's super satisfying too. I don't know. I find it so, like, I love piping. I gotta find some of my old cake pictures to show you guys. Yeah, my hands don't work the way they used to, but they still work. I still got it. All right, so I know this is way different than our usual type of class. I know that, you know, we go heavy on the mentality side of things in these calls. I love giving you guys tips, but because each of our, you know, carb tolerances, our protocols, our places in our programs are so different, it's hard for me sometimes to give generalized tips that are enough to fill up an entire Zoom session. So I love doing technical stuff and I love actually teaching, even more than maybe not more than the mindset stuff, but I do enjoy that too. So if you guys think of anything that you really are just banging your head up against the wall about making and you want me to devote one of these Zooms to teaching, I would love to do that. Just let me know. I know I'm going to do one on shirataki noodles soon once I get like a little induction stovetop thing here so that you can like watch me as I make it. So that'll be coming soon. Be all different types of shirataki and how I kind of work with the texture to not make it so much of so off-putting to some people. I don't know. I'm partial. I love shirataki noodles. But let me know if you guys have any suggestions, requests, whatever it is. Don't be shy. You know I love feedback. I say it all the time. And I want to hear what you thought about this. I'm not even going to be posting this in the page. So you let me know what you thought of this if you would like me to do more like this, please. Oh, wait, we have some here. Random question from the beginning of the Zoom. What does the psyllium husk do? Is it necessary? It's not necessary like what you're going to make will come out crappy. It doesn't do anything for the taste. What it does is, so you've made only dough, right? These are the scraps from the pie crust. Do you see how fibrous this is? And how hard it is to pull apart? Oh my God, I'm getting grease all over my keyboard. And how difficult it is to kind of pull, well, only you could feel it. It's really hard. When we make the only dough, you can kind of just tear it really easily. So the psyllium husk helps to give it a little bit more of a chewiness to it. So it's more like kind of a crust that holds up. It also makes it easier for you to roll out and for you to press it into the dish itself without it breaking or ripping or getting too thin because it kind of holds its shape a lot. I use this for the cinnamon rolls. This is the same dough I use for the cinnamon rolls, and that gives it the ability to be rolled up and more elastic. So it helps with the texture. It's not necessary. I do recommend xanthan gum like I do with the only dough in general for the sake of texture. But no, psyllium husk is just a fun addition. You don't have to have it. You don't have it. So, all right, guys. If you love me, text me, let me know what you thought. And I will catch up with you guys later on. Okay? Thanks for tuning in. Sorry I was a little bit of a dumpster fire. And I'll talk to you guys later.